Welcome to week number 4, everyone. We are at the halfway point in the term. So let's get going, see what we've got going. Get to the next slide because there's a lot of information here. Last week, you learned about finding sources, scientific sources to help you get information about your topic. I hope you were successful in that. You used the Shapiro Library, you used PubMed, you used Google Scholar to find some articles, and then you had to figure out how to read them and make sense of them. And I told you that the most important section of any paper is the abstract because it tells you everything you need to know. And with that being said, then after you read the abstract, is this relevant? Is this research relevant to your particular topic? If you say, yes, it is relevant, then you have to make sure it's from a credible source. So you look at the end of the article to find out where this person works. You also look for any financial disclosures, which have to be at the end of the paper that tell you where the money is coming from for this particular research. It is difficult to read scientific journal articles because there's a lot of scientific jargon. It's difficult for me too if it is not my specialty. So just realize that this is difficult for everybody. So hopefully you found some good sources, and if you are having trouble or whatever, I hope that you are letting me know things like that. All right, you're going to read chapter 4 and work through the exercises on the Flint, Michigan lead in the water issue that has happened in the last decade and how we are trying to resolve that and what horrible health issues have come about because of that. And that will help, reading these different articles about the lead in the water problem in Flint, Michigan will help you understand levels of scientific communication. So most people, don't know where my cursor is, there we go. Most people read news articles. Like every morning when I get up, I open up my phone and there pops up some news articles from Apple. And I read those. If I want more information though, I'm going to go somewhere else and look for it. Because news articles aren't really great about truly explaining science, right? Because the news is written by a bunch of journalists who are not scientists. So there are different levels of scientific communication, everything from journals, and journals are very specific to disciplines. So for example, one article that I published was in the journal Electrophoresis. You don't even know what that is, right? What the heck is electrophoresis? It's a technique. It's a technique that's used in DNA fingerprinting. It's a modified form these days from way back when. But only scientists who are interested in this technique read that particular journal. So journals are for scientists. But of course, everybody can read a journal because they are out there. The information is out there for anybody to read. And then you move on down the list. You can look at reviews, and review articles are published by scientists who take information from different articles, put them together and make sense of them and explain them to you in an easy, hopefully easy to understand way. You can look at magazines like Scientific American, which are written for the general public that help explain scientific ideas, all the way down to news articles. So there's all kinds of levels of scientific communication, and you have to understand the purpose of each in order to figure out whether this is really good information for you or maybe you need some clarification and support for this particular information, which might just be opinions. All right, in your work this week, besides the work in the Sumo web text, you're going to need to check your feedback on your questions because this week review that feedback and make revisions. Every week you'll see that you're building on your project. So every week you add more to it. And you may fix what you didn't do exactly correctly from the week before. you can do revisions every week. So check your feedback because I have given you feedback. You're going to turn in your rough draft this week, and this will include everything that you've done so far, plus who is your audience. Audience is terribly important. I have given scientific presentations to everything from preschool classes all the way to nursing home groups, all the way to colleagues in my discipline, to medical doctors who understand a lot but don't know anything about the science, to my students. So you have to understand who your audience is so that you can taper your information toward that audience so that they will understand what you're talking about. How much explaining are you going to have to do? How much defining are you going to have to do? Are they already going to understand most everything in your particular presentation? You're just showing them something new. If it's a group of your colleagues, then they're probably going to know all of this. So you don't need to define what global warming is, that sort of thing. So who is your audience and how are you going to make your presentation where that particular group of people can understand what you're talking about and appreciate what you're talking about, and then also ask good questions. Then another part of your rough draft this week is to determine what your natural principles are. So what the heck are they? They are overarching types of ideas that have to do with your topic. So if your topic is ocean acidification, the pH of water and how important that is a natural principle. If you're going to be an organism, why does the pH of water have to be in a certain range? That's important. The release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, that's another natural principle. If your topic is biodiversity conservation, then you have to explain the interactions between species and an environment, and that's called ecology. That's a principle. If you're not sure about your principles, please ask me. I will gladly help you with this and help you define some of the natural principles. And in this section, it says describe your natural principles. And so description means not just one sentence, okay? That's not description. Describe what this is so that I can be sure that you understand this as you move on, okay? Make sure that you are using appropriate sources for your questions. Look back at my feedback to make sure that I'm okay with your sources. I run into this every term, especially when it comes to GMOs. Oh my goodness. Students love to use websites that talk about GMOs, and a lot of those websites are just opinion websites. There is actually no science that backs up the claims of causing cancer and, oh goodness, all kinds of crazy things like that. Sorry. Check my feedback on that to make sure that your sources are good. You may have to revise some of that. No discussion board postings this week, week number 4. You won't have discussion board postings again until week 6. So know that. You'll have enough to do this week with your textbook and with your rough draft. This is an important week for your project. All right, and then finally, if you need help, please ask me for it. Don't get stuck. No one likes to get stuck, you know? So please just let me know. Just email me, and I will be glad to answer any questions that you have. I'll be able to pull you out of the rut and help you along. So ask me if you need some help. I'm here whenever. I'm always checking my email, so let me know if you're having any issues whatsoever. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I can always do a face-to-face meeting on WebEx if you want to do that. So just let me know, okay? With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful week number 4.